Welcome back to the Fitness Mindset Podcast. I'm your host, Amanda Mikulev, and today's show has been sponsored by Divine Physiques Coaching. This episode was recorded live for my private client Facebook group, whereby every Monday morning at 7 a.m. I record a new topic for Mindset Mondays. On today's episode, I will be discussing ways to stay fit and healthy as a shift worker. This video comes as an extension of my last podcast, episode number 22, which is linked in the description below if you want to check that out, about how poor sleep affects fat loss. On today's episode, I offer some tools and strategies around how to handle the stress on your body's natural circadian rhythm and energy levels when your work shifts are constantly changing. And this may be especially appealing for those of you out there who are nurses, paramedics, or even in the police force. And how best to manage a healthy lifestyle regardless of the constant change to your roster. Also, if you are feeling a little stressed out or overwhelmed with your current situation and are struggling to stick to a health and fitness journey, you might really enjoy my free 7-day mindset mini cheat sheet. So stay tuned until the end of the episode and I will share that link with you and also more info on what that involves. On that note, I hope you enjoy today's show. Good morning, everyone. Now I'm not going to wait for people to jump on the live, because we're supposed to go live yesterday, but I got really busy with the Queen's birthday and having a day off, and I had some stuff to do, so I thought I'd jump on this morning, which is not our usual Mindset Monday, so it's now Mindset Tuesday just for this week. And today I wanted to have a chat about how to make a fitness journey work as a shift worker, because a few of you guys work in the medical and the police industries. So, and a lot of you are used to that shift work environment where you're working mornings, afternoons, and nights. And some of you struggle with energy as well as keeping to a routine at times with food and whatnot. So today I thought I would spend some time researching into how to make it work, how to make your fitness journey work as a shift worker. Okay, because I personally have actually never had to work a different shift aside, from the 9 to 5 type thing. As a PT though, we do have early starts and late finishes, but generally it's still within the normal kind of time slot. It's just more earlier than usual and a little bit later than usual. But aside from that, we're not having to work until very, very late at night or throughout the night. So it doesn't mess with the circadian rhythm too much, so long as we are prioritizing a decent amount of sleep and getting into a regular pattern with sleep. So if you can hear the audio okay, give me a thumbs up. Or if you're catching this back on the replay, put hashtag replay below, and any comments about this video that you feel are necessary. So if you find this video helpful or useful, feel free to share your information below. If you want to say hello, please do so in the comments. All right, we'll get stuck into it. So the main issue with night shift is the irregular sleeping habits. It can mess with the body's natural circadian rhythm and also be the number one cause of obesity, stress, and some more serious diseases such as heart disease and cancer. So if we look at some of the problems that shift work may present. So from a biological standpoint, exhaustion being one of them. So I know that I had one particular client come to me the other week discussing or mentioning that he was feeling a little more exhausted than usual. And he does often work on the shift, so night shift, day shift, afternoon shift. And sometimes when it comes to doing night shift or just shift work in general, exhaustion is just a part of the process where it's hard to avoid. So unfortunately, it's one of those side effects of when you do work shift work, it may or may not be unavoidable, unfortunately. Okay, sleep is of poor quality and shortened. So I'm just going to run through pretty much a list, and then I'm going to discuss how you can get into a better routine when it comes to shift work, all right? Daytime sleepiness. So you may find yourself being more sleepier during the day than usual. You may suffer from a bit of irritability, depression discordance. So your sleep-wake cycle is out of whack with your circadian rhythm, and therefore you may feel down due to conflicting signals within the body. Caffeine consumption is at night when it's normally during the day, which can also mess with your sleep. So if you're having coffee too late in the night, on your night shift as well, not a great thing, because then you'll struggle to sleep later on. Again, I'll just touch on a little bit later. The feeling of the exhaustion or the tiredness can also be very similar to jet lag, where you just have that unexplained fatigue. Your body's core temperature and your strength is weaker throughout the night than it is during the day. GI problems, decreased immune system, and constipation or acid reflux. Socially, social isolation, unhealthy eating habits, higher rates of substance abuse, and less marital satisfaction. So if any of you have been suffering from any of these, give the video a like below, or even maybe leave us a comment and let us know maybe some of the things with while trying to work the shift work. And it may be unavoidable in your line of work, and maybe even suggest some things in the comments below about how you actually deal best when it comes from changing from shift to shift. So when you're having to go from a morning shift into an afternoon shift or into a night shift. So what is a circadian rhythm? So it is any biological process that oscillates roughly every 24 hours. Okay, so I've pulled up a circadian rhythm chart. All right, and just to talk you through it very quickly. So we are in our deepest sleep around 2 in the morning. So assuming that you go to bed, say around 10 o'clock at night, okay, 2:30 or 4:30 in the morning, is your lowest body temperature. Around 6:45 is our sharpest rise in blood pressure. Our melatonin secretion stops around 7:30 in the morning. You're most likely to have your first bowel movement around 8:30 in the morning. Your highest testosterone secretion is around 9 a.m. You're very alert by 10 a.m. By around 2:30 in the afternoon, you generally have really good coordination. You have fastest reaction time around 3:30 in the afternoon. Greatest cardiovascular efficiency and muscle strength happens at around 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Around 6:30 is your highest blood pressure. Around 7 is your highest body temperature. Around 9 p.m. is your melatonin secretion starts. So that's when the body wants to start winding down, and it's signaling that it's time to start going to sleep. You generally have bowel movement suppression around, I'm trying to understand the 24-hour clock, 22:30, so that is 10:30. And then by midnight, you should be asleep. All right, so I did put a video up 2 weeks ago about the importance of sleep and how it correlates to fat loss. So if you haven't actually watched that, go back through the video file and have a look at that. Or if you are watching this back on YouTube or listening back on the podcast, the links will actually be below for that one. All right, good morning, Annie, and good morning, Nick. So guys, give us a comment below if you've ever worked shift work. Please let us know some of the things that you've had to deal with through shift work. But I encourage you guys to watch back to the start of this. I've already covered a few points already. So let's go through some tips on how you can actually make shift work for you, for your health and fitness goals specifically. So a couple of tips that I, through my research, a few people have obviously given some good tips, and I researched on a few nurses and what they suggested could work in terms of shift work. So trying to work as few nights as possible. So work as few nights in a row as possible, and working shorter shifts if possible. Now, it may not always be possible, because I know nurses that work 12-hour shifts throughout the night, starting at, say, 7 in the afternoon, finishing around 6, 7 in the morning. I'm pretty sure police officers start around 11 at night and finish around 7 in the morning. And then more often than not, if they have a job to go to, they may work overtime. So things aren't always a perfect situation, but where you can control it, if you can either shorten your shift or work fewer nights in a row, that would be ideal for your circadian rhythm. In terms of eating, so it's great to develop a good routine around your eating schedule like you would with a normal daytime schedule. So one thing that I found was quite useful online, someone had suggested, was you've got to treat the nighttime like the daytime. So if we're looking at, say that your shift starts at 11 p.m. and you're about to eat around 7 p.m., okay, you can treat your 7 p.m. like your 7 a.m. So treat that like a breakfast. You could treat 11 p.m. just before or after, like your lunchtime, okay, maybe between 11 and 12 p.m. And then say 5 to 7 a.m., you could treat that like your dinner. So you might have your dinner around that time slot. Other people may prefer to actually have snacks throughout the night. So things like high protein snacks would be really good, okay? The thing with carbohydrate snacks is that it may make you feel more sleepy throughout the night and you're trying your best to stay awake. So with the protein will give you a more sustained energy throughout the night. So you can try more protein snacks, whether it's a can of tuna, okay? You may even try some fruit, even though it is more carb-based. Those little bit of those natural sugars may keep you going throughout the night without forcing you to crash. Okay, so that's that. Good quality sleep. So making sure a few of the things are possible. So blacking out your room as much as possible and any outside noise. So as you're trying to sleep throughout the morning time or the daytime, outside noise is going to be inevitable. So you want to use blockout curtains, use an eye mask and earplugs if you can, and try to make sure that you sleep in a cool room of around 15 to 20 degrees Celsius. So we do tend to sleep best when we sleep in a cool room. Now, there's a couple of different sleeping styles that you can adopt here. So anchor sleep. So an anchor sleep means when you have a day off on your week of working nights, for example. So you don't necessarily break your night shift routine if you have to work a night shift the day after. So instead what you do is on that actual day off, let's just say you do night shift on the Tuesday, you have the day off Wednesday, and then you've got another night shift on the Thursday. So on the Wednesday, you could still treat it as though you are doing the hours of the night shift. So stay up that little bit later, maybe go to bed really late, like 3 to 4 a.m., so that you are still going to bed while the sun is down, but you're still training your body to stay awake. So you're keeping your rhythm somewhat normal while you're doing night shift. Otherwise, if you try to go back to a normal daytime routine on your day off, you will most likely throw things out way too much. So just pushing that sleep out a lot later could really work wonders in that respect. Again, if you have tried that, please comment below. I'd be really interested to see what you think about that one. Split sleep. So it's highly encouraged that you actually go home, go to bed straight after a night shift. Okay, and rather than sleeping all the way through, what you could do is you could sleep maybe 3 to 4 hours as soon as you get home from work. Then you can get up and enjoy some part of the day, whether you want to go to train or run some errands or, socialize, because socializing could be hindered throughout the night shift period. And then you could sleep another, say, 3 hours just before your night shift, and that way at least you've still gotten a good 7 to 8 hours sleep, but you're splitting it up throughout the day and you're not missing out on too much of the day at hand. Naps. So avoid napping during your shift, as this will also mess with your circadian rhythm. So working out. Okay, so research has recommended going straight to bed after a night shift to avoid as much exposure to light as possible, to not mess with your already discordant circadian rhythm. It's said that it may be best for you to perform exercise once you have slept, or even before your night shift starts, as it may give you a boost of energy throughout the night to sustain your ability to stay awake, rather than feeling like you want to die at 3 to 5 a.m. during your shift. This may be subjective to some people, but in order to reduce fatigue and potential muscle loss due to increased exhaustion, you may want to try swapping out exercise straight after a shift, but before your shift or after a split sleep routine. So that's where the split sleep routine could come in really handy, where at least you can go home, knock out a few hours, get up, feel energized, feel a bit stronger, go and train, come back and sleep again, and then go to your night shift after that. And hydration is a really big one. So we tend to get more dehydrated throughout the evening. So staying hydrated is important, as you will most likely get dehydrated on the night shift. Take a big bottle of water with you. You maybe want to slice up some lemons, throw some lemons into that. And half the time, if you do get cravings, it may be due to hydration more so than actual hunger. So if you keep your fluids up, it should make you feel a little bit better throughout the night. So caffeine consumption. So as I mentioned earlier, try to consume caffeine, preferably a black coffee. Try to avoid caffeinated drinks as they are full of sugars. And try to have this no later than around 2 to 3 a.m. So you want to try and avoid caffeine consumption around 3 hours before you decide to go to bed, as you'll find that it's all fine and well to hit 4 or 5 a.m. You think it's okay to have a coffee, but then a few hours later, your plan is to go to sleep. And on a normal day, if you have coffee around 3 p.m., 4 p.m., it may still keep you awake at night if your plan is to sleep around 10, 11 p.m. So caffeine, it does have its strong effects on people. We take for granted sometimes just how effective it can be. But if you make sure that you treat it through the night as you would through the day, then it shouldn't affect your sleep too much. Now, in terms of foods, if you can, where at all possible, try and stick to whole food, fruit, veggies, meats. Try to avoid sugary snacks as much as possible, as this won't be good for your fat loss journey. So that's the thing. It's one thing to try to get through a night shift. It's another to try and maintain a health and fitness journey, to try to continue to lose fat while also throwing your circadian rhythm out of whack. So in summary, number one, night shift is scientifically and socially difficult. We understand that. If you've ever done night shift, I personally haven't. But in dealing with clients that have, I can see that it has taken its toll at times. It does take its toll on certain individuals. Number two, if you apply the above strategies, don't make it worse for yourself. You can make it better for yourself as much as possible. Sometimes you're not going to avoid the inevitable, but we can certainly control it and make it as less painful as possible. Number three, communicate with your friends and family, get them on board, make sure that they know that you're working night shift or afternoon shift, and get them to respect the fact that if you need the house to be that little bit more quiet, make sure that they're on board with that. Number four, arrange shifts and sleeping habits with your circadian rhythms in mind. Number five, exercise and see the light. It will help you reset your circadian rhythms. All right, guys, that's all from me today. I again apologize that this wasn't produced yesterday, but got really busy with Queen's birthday. But if you did find today's topic at all useful, please like the video, drop me a comment, give me a thumbs up or a heart. But thanks for watching, and I will catch you on the next Mindset Monday. Ciao. Thanks so much for tuning into today's episode. Please make sure that you grab yourself a free copy of my 7-day mini mindset cheat sheet at askamandahowe.com. I repeat, it's askamandahowe.com. So my current clients get access to the full 6-week course, but today I wanted you to have the first week absolutely free. So in this cheat sheet, I will show you how to understand why change is so difficult, uncover where your priorities are currently at, understand how this may be affecting your ability to ultimately achieve the body and the life you've been dreaming of. And also you'll be given a little homework task there to help you put into practice what you will learn about yourself in the next 7 days. Also, if you are interested in online or face-to-face coaching, you can book yourself in for a free 15-minute discovery call. That link is also below. So check that out if you wish to elevate your training and mindset to the next level. Thanks again for joining me on the show today, and I'll catch you on the next episode.